So what did I say to you yesterday? I didn't say it on
Yeah.
commercial break, but I said it last night on the set of Fast Money. I
Well,
said,
we're on the set of Fast Money, where so much of this material comes from, thus
Sure.
the name commercial break. I believe we were on a commercial break, and you said to me, Tim, Mets, who are doing a redo of the night before's game that was rain delayed and postponed, you said, is there a must-win game today in I guess in Flushing?
Sure.
And I said to you, and I believe what I said was no must-win games in August. Okay.
Right.
So I felt that, but having won the game, I almost feel like saying, you know what, it was a must-win game.
Yeah, I know. No, let me tell you something. I know exactly. Believe me, because if they lost, then you're there's justification and you're exonerated. But if they win, you take a sigh of relief. And by the way, I don't want to play commissioner of baseball here. I don't. But all these doubleheaders are now bullshit 7-inning games. And yesterday, and we had this conversation.
We went 9. We went 9.
And I was so excited because at the end of the 7th, the Mets had lost, and I'm like, yeah, they effing lost again.
I know.
And then all of a sudden, I see top of the 8th. I'm like, wait a second, this is Fugazi, but that's a horse of a different color. That's neither here nor there. The Mets won, good for them. They got rained out in the second game of the twin bill. They're playing this afternoon. Blah blah blah. Well, with that said, big win by the Mets, but we have listen. This might be a must. Watch what I do here. A must quarter for the Disney, which reports after the bell. And why do I say that? Because the stock has been meandering around 175 now, seemingly for months. Make or break here, in my opinion. Yours?
Not make or break. I kind of feel about the Disney quarter like I did about the Met game yesterday. They don't have to win today. I think the long-term future is intact, and that this franchise is on a very solid foundation. By the way, with a management change, much in the way that in Flushing we had an ownership change. Obviously, we've got a transition going on at Disney, and I think the story here, and layer in a little bit of COVID Delta variant dynamic, and are we shutting down again? And boy, wasn't Disney one of the first companies to get pummeled on the back of those headlines around COVID last April? I actually think that it's been a haven and a moment for their streaming business to become more critical, more concentrated, to build that foundation. So again, 104 million subs or so as of last quarter. I don't think anybody's expecting anything impressive today. Therefore, again, it's not a must win. They're going to show you 110 million subs. They're probably going to be at 120 by year end. I think the fact that this company, like the Mets, have decided to play along 2 or 3 different fundamental, call them divisions, call them approaches to the game, that they are actually trying to come back and deliver along distribution and then the content distribution, the DTC. That's how Disney's doing it, much in the same way that the Mets clearly are building along pitching, defense, and through the farm system.
Whoa. Defense? I mean, seriously, did you just say you tried to slip that by me? The pitching part, I get. The defense part, but before, listen, I've said this 100 times. I'll say it again for you first-time watchers, listeners, whatever. J.D. Davis plays third base like he's picking up frickin' hand grenades. The other guy at first base, the Alonso character, I mean, he is a DH. You know it. I know it. He knows it. He's a DH. Dom Smith is a left fielder that should be playing first base. Jeff McNeil doesn't have a position. I mean, it's a joke with the. So don't give me the defense thing.
Who's your shortstop in the Bronx?
Why do we go to the Bronx all of a sudden? I didn't bring up the Bronx. You brought up the Bronx. Next year, by the way, I'll tell you who the shortstop will be. Next year, the shortstop will be the guy that's playing for the Dodgers now, number 1. And then Glaber moves to second base where he should be playing.
Next year. Anyway. Next year. So again, let's talk about Disney next year. I mean, Disney's going to be 120 million subs as we get into the new calendar year. And by the way, they're not playing defense. They're playing offense. Defense for them is the fact that Black Widow and other PVOD, whether they're in the theater or again on streaming video, is the machine that keeps Disney alive. Look, I don't like the valuation of Disney, much in the same way as I don't like how much money we're paying for Francisco Lindor right now. But guess what? We're committed to the long term here, and I think Disney's valuation is something I can own. So not a must-win quarter.
You got Frankie Lindor signed for the next 10 years. Robinson Cano, don't you know? is still under
And Bobby
contract. Although
Bonilla.
you
Why don't
got,
you throw Bonilla in there too?
although you got,
celebrated
well,
Bonilla
no,
Day.
I didn't do that. You did it. I didn't do it. But yes, you just celebrated Bobby Bonilla Day. And by the way, you mentioned a Haven, and the first thing I thought of was Haven Moses, who, by the way, I was a big Haven Moses fan in high school. Wide receiver, started his career with the Bills. Then he went on to play for the Broncos. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Great player. Thoughts on Haven Moses before we get out of here?
You know what? Look, he was. I think he was one of the first guys to go from high school to the pros in the NBA, and he had a huge career in Houston. I mean,
I like what you did there. You Moses Malone me. I like what you did. I Haven Moses. You trumped my Haven Moses with a Moses Malone. That's a good job by you.
The only other Moses that matters is over in the Middle East somewhere. And guess what? You know, that's not us right now. Guy, you're looking sharp. I'll see you tonight on the big show.
Later.